Just line pressure in general. These transmissions have a lot of issues with line pressure, and just kind of wanted to go over this. This works for the 545, 66 RFE, 68 RFE, pretty much all of the RFEs besides the 45s. The 45s have a little bit different strategy. So today we're just going to work on looking at line pressure and seeing how this works. These things only have about 60 pounds of line pressure at idle. So it's not really great, you know. So we're going to go under transmission. This is HP tuners, obviously. You read the file here. This is to write the vehicle. Anyways, we'll go straight to shift pressures. And in here you can find, this one's already been modified. Max line pressure, 160, usually that's factory, you know. But you know, if you go out and drive one of these things and floor it, you barely ever see 160 even. You see like 145 maybe. And it's really slow to build line pressure. So this is a little high. Usually, so from the factory, I think this is set to 50. And obviously you want your minimum line pressure to be at least 100 at idle. So 100 PSI is sufficient. And as far as the max line pressure goes, it just depends on your valve body modifications. The best thing, in my opinion, is if you have a stock valve body and it's street driven, it all depends on your horsepower. You know, if you're running a max Everton, you have to run a lot of line pressure. And to do that, you can only run around 200 PSI factory on a factory valve body. If you want to run more than that, you have to have drill a hole in the channel plate and then add a plate, a different separator plate, to allow the transmission pressure to raise. The factory pressure regulator spring in these will make 250 PSI. So, but if you got valve body gaskets, you took it apart, you rebuilt it, you know, 200 PSI would be fine. I mean, if this is just like a tow truck, you probably don't even need 200. You just set it at 180 and be fine. But if you're max effort running all out and you have the valve body mods, I would just set it to 225. And then, you know, if you're all out racing with the thing, then you'd go straight to 250. But you'd want to go through here too and raise all these values to whatever you put in there. So whatever you're going to raise it to, you want all these to be the same. Reverse and neutral, 120 is fine. You don't really need to move that one. This is a big one here, pressure gain. So if you look at all these numbers, the 0.020 down, you can see that the pressure gain is a lot higher in sixth gear than it is in everything else. And what this means is how fast the pressure comes on. And this one down here is at 0.008, which is kind of weird because pretty sure the maximum is 0.995 down here. Yeah, it says the maximum is 0.995. So what you'd want to do, if you wanted the line pressure to be as fast as possible, you would go 0.995 and just max it out. So, and what this is doing is telling the computer to ramp the line pressure in really quick to keep the transmission alive. This is base line pressure, desired line pressure with engine brake. You know, this is fine. You know, 100 psi, 120. And then through here, these are the elements, and this is the duty cycle. You can raise these values up. Let's see if I can find a compare file here. one that's already been modified. Yep. Oh, I don't have my MPVI2 connected right now, so probably just gonna have to wait on that. I'd like to show you that these are raised. You know, you could start out little and work your way up. Sorry, let's close that. So you could do right off the bat, you could probably do 60 here, you could do 95 here, 65 here, 95 there. And you could even do the soft applies, you could bring them up a little bit. And then there's also a torque value. It's current, same thing, duty cycle. This is all still based on duty cycle. Torque converter is another thing. I don't really like this thing locking up in second gear. So part TCC apply, second gear, 900 RPMs, third gear, 900 RPMs. I don't know if, I mean, when you have one of these trucks, they literally just go boom, 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 and they're in sixth gear. And then when you press the gas, they go all the way down to like third gear. So then they skip like 3 gears and then it's in third. And then you let off like 40 miles an hour. You're already in sixth gear. They just don't shift very well. But anyways, what I like to do, this is unlocked. This is a partial lock to full lock. So what I would do is just set these high. This is based on turbine speed, but you could set these to something really high, like 6,000 RPM, 6,000 or so. And if you go back here, it'll tell you the maximum is 8,000. I mean, you could put them at 8,000. Definitely put this one at that. I mean, realistically, you only need the thing locking up in fourth, fifth, and sixth gear. And then that's usually how I do it. And then when it's in tow haul mode, I will sometimes leave it in second. I'll let it lock up. But most of the time, I get rid of second gear and just let it lock up into third. But depending on what you're doing, you know, what kind of truck it is, if it's towing a lot, I might lock it up in second gear. Torque management. I think these numbers are pretty accurate. Yeah. You mess with much of this until, you know, you get into the high horsepower stuff. You can raise these torque values here. But this is HP tuners. Sometimes it's a little funny, you know, jumping back and forth from HP tuners to EFI Live. Let's look at EFI Live real quick. Go down to line pressure, parameters. All right, max pressure TCC locked, 160. This could be raised to 170. If you have a shift kit, a transgo in this thing, and you have the little sleeve in there, that transgo sleeve will only limit you to 170 psi in lockup, so it doesn't balloon the torque converter. A lot of people have mixed feelings on that. Some people like to run full line pressure on the torque converter, and there's a lot of people saying they shouldn't be doing that because you'll balloon the converter. So anyways, here we go, line pressure minimum, and then here's your constant. So like I said, this transmission only has 60 psi, and it seems like you have to have the transmission shifted gear, or you have to be close to half throttle before it'll actually ramp, you know, 120 psi in. So like I said, if you're already at 100 psi and it only has to move 20 per the shifts, your transmission is going to last a lot longer. So you want your minimum to be 100 psi. And then let's go down here in some of these torque driver modes. Sorry. So yeah, this is the same thing. I mean, like I said, you can just make these numbers high. I don't like the part lock thing. Part lock is kind of trash. You can tune this all out so it doesn't have any part lock at all. It'll just be fully locked. You can lock this thing up in third gear. all the way to 6 and make it shift really nice. But like I said, we're just talking about line pressure today. Um, yeah, so it's just more torque converter stuff. I mean, EFI Live and HP tuners are pretty similar. How they work. Shift feel. There's a lot of tables in here, and they're all negative. So you got to really kind of know what's going on here before you start throwing numbers in here. Yeah, I was looking for a torque value, but we're going to hop back over to HP tuners here and look at another file. This is actually out of a Jeep. It's a 2007 Jeep with a 545 RFE transmission. And what you'll notice in here is the torque management. Maybe. Torque management. So this is, like I said, I have that sleeve. This has a transfer shift kit in it. I'm trying 200 PSI on the stock valve body without any modifications. High pressure, mid line pressure is 100 PSI. And yeah, like I said, max is 200 on this one. Another thing, this might seem weird. Obviously, the other one showed it, so I don't know if I need to tell people or not, but this says 0 to 21. What this actually means is, I could probably just hop into this one and show you, actually, because it shows you on this one. Thought it did anyways. Hold on a second. Max line pressure. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I forgot where I was at here for a second. So if we go to max line pressure per gear here, see, that's just 1 through 20. If you counted it out, that actually tells you what these numbers mean. So if you line it up with this, that's what the numbers mean on this other one. 1, 2 shift, you know, so on and so forth. It's the same thing. Just not, doesn't really give you any information. Torque management. Oh, okay, sorry. The torque management's on the engine side. That's why I was pretty sure. Well, there's torque management and obviously both the engine and the trans side, but sometimes they hide it. I don't know what the heck is going on here. There it is. Sorry, I just had to scroll down. So these numbers are really low from the factory. I think they're like 100 or something like that. If you just bump these up to 369, because that's what the 4.5 shift is anyways, it will really help your transmission when you raise the line pressure and stuff. It could shift weird if you have that torque management set to stock. So just kind of wanted to go over that a little bit. On this, you can see the second gear apply has been taken out. I don't use second gear. Same thing with third gear apply. I just lock in this transmission up in fourth and fifth. Same thing here, 6,000 RPMs, 6,000. We're just trying to get rid of the gears. We don't want to be locking it up all the time and wearing the torque converter clutch out. So that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to go over the RFE family transmissions and just show everybody, how the line pressure worked. Pretty easy. Nothing